capital city with news from across the state. This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law, with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and Metro News' Dave Allen.
Welcome into the 2 o'clock hour, the final hour. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. We'll get to Open Line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. Nothing but your calls and texts. Text line is open, 304-TALK 304. You can call 1-800-765-TALK. It's Metro News Midday.
Metro News Midday is presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com. Join in by calling 800-765-8255 or text 304-TALK 304. Let's go live to downtown Charleston. Here's Dave Allen.
Tuesday edition of the show. It's Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Welcome aboard. It is a sunny day here in the capital city, but man, is it cold. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. Open Line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. You can text me, 304-TALK 304. We will get to Open Line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. Well, it was 20 years ago that many of us started getting the news. I guess the official date was yesterday, about some sort of a incident at the Aracoma mine, which was located in Logan County. Speedy Bevins, with at that time WVAW Radio, one of our fine affiliates now, was general manager for many years at WVAW. He was one of the first ones on the scene, if not the first person on that date 20 years ago. And he joins us now. Speedy, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Dave, thank you for inviting me on today.
Let's let's go back to the beginnings of this sort of thing. At what point did the radio station and emergency services and whatnot in Logan County at that time, that 20 years ago, at what point did we start getting information that there was something going terribly wrong at this particular mine?
The fire itself broke out about 5:30 that Thursday afternoon. We started getting calls about 7 o'clock at the station. And about an hour later, about 8 or 8:30, my engineer called and said, hey, WSAZ wants to know if anyone's going up there. And I thought, oh, well, okay, well, then this is getting kind of serious. So it was not too far from my house, so I drove up there, and it's on Route 17. And that is the road between Logan and Blair Mountain, and traffic was already just so difficult to maneuver. There were so many people up there because what had happened was after the fire broke out and everyone except the two victims exited the mine, they were told, hey, a lot of people are at 17, walk out of the hollow here, get with your relatives, let them know you're okay, and then come back up here. So there was just a huge mixing of people at the time that I got up there, which was about 9 o'clock that night.
And how many workers were in the mine when the fire happened?
I don't know how many people were in the mine itself. There were 12 people working on that beltline area, and 10 were able to get out.
And what was the final conclusion of what actually caused the fire?
Beltline fires, I think, were and are pretty common in underground mines. And it was just a situation to where the two victims got separated from the other 10 co-workers and disoriented with all the smoke. And unfortunately, their bodies were found very near the beltline where the fire broke out.
And it's very important to remember this timeline, on in January of 2006, because we weren't far removed from the tragedy at Sago.
We were 2 weeks removed from Sago, and once I ascertained that we did have 2 men missing, and I'll give you the story on that. When I got up there, as I said, there were just dozens of people milling around, and I saw a face that looked familiar, and I nodded my head, and he said, hey, Speed. And I walked over, and I said, what happened? And he said, oh, there was a beltline fire. And I said, everybody get out okay? And he didn't answer me. And I looked at him, and I went, hey, did everybody make it out? And he just kind of dropped his head, and I could see him tearing up. and he walked away. So at that point, you knew that this could be very tragic. So I called ABC Radio, and we were the lead story on the 11 o'clock news that night, and the lead story from the ABC anchor began, "It's happened again in West Virginia." So, yeah, just a couple of weeks removed from Sago.
Again, we're talking with Speedy Bevins, who at that time was WVW Radio in Logan, about the 20th anniversary of the Aracoma mine disaster there. All right, so now in the timeline, we're up to, as you said, Thursday evening when you arrived on scene, and we start getting, and people have to understand that are listening to this, okay, 2006 may as well have been 1946 as far as where we've evolved since then. Very, very limited cell phone coverage. This was really before iPhones or anything like that. So we had
iPhone and texting were not a thing then.
Yeah. Jeff and I were talking a little bit earlier about when he arrived on scene, and there was, and I don't mean to make light of the situation, but it was one of those situations in that area where, you turn a certain way, you stand on one leg, you might be able to get like half a bar or something like that. So it's not like it was now. There was no social media, at least the way that we know it now. So everybody was tuned.
It was MySpace. That was the MySpace era.
Everybody was tuned in, to radio, or they were following, listening to Metro News, or they were following their television station, because by this point on that Thursday night, I mean, there were a whole lot of people that had ascended upon the scene there.
Indeed, and what happened next was someone with Massey Energy that worked in the Human Resources Department that I knew casually walked by and said, "Do you see that black Suburban up there?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "In 2 minutes, I want you to walk up and get in the back seat." So I did, and when I got in the back seat, there was Mike Browning, who was the editor of the Logan Banner. Mike, of course, later became a longtime aide for Senator Manchin. And the director of Human Resources was driving the vehicle, and he said, "We're going to go up to the church. That's where the governor is. That's where the families are. And we'll let you two go up and talk to the governor."
And the governor at that time, of course, was Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin,
mm-hmm.
Right. So we got up to the steps of the church. Manchin came out, and he said, "We've got 2 men missing. It's a beltline fire." And he said, "We need to get a media center set up." But he said, "Let's go in and let's talk inside." So I went into the church, and the church was starting to get crowded with the families of the 2 men that were missing. Ellery Hatfield, who went by Elvis Hatfield, and Don Bragg. And I want to be sensitive here.
Mm-hmm.
I went up and sat near the pulpit, and I looked in one of the pews, and there was a woman sitting there who I later ascertained was Dolores Bragg, and she had her mom and dad on either side of her, their arms around her, and the look in her eyes, her look was distant. It was almost, I knew this day was going to come, and now it's here. And there was also a lot of anger in her eyes. Right. And I'm not being critical.
No, that's 100% understandable. Yeah. It's absolutely.
And as this moved forward into the summer of 2006, Dolores Bragg became quite an advocate on what had happened there. And Frida Hatfield, the widow of Elvis Hatfield, joined her. And there were some major court decisions in their favor as they just were relentless in pursuing what they felt like needed to be done as a result of the accident and their husbands being killed. So Manchin at that point said, "We got to get a media center set up." And I said, "Okay, I just saw the owner of the hardware store just down the road pull in. Let's go ask him."
Mm-hmm.
And that was Badger Lumber. And one of the managers there said, yeah, I understand, fine. And so we went into the back where the warehouse was, and we started putting up black plastic along the open shelves to give a backdrop. And what that turned out to be was so interesting, because whenever Governor Manchin or one of the MSHA people would give a press conference, it looked like we were in a coal mine.
Right.
And I know you were watching it on CNN, and you called me and you said, "Where are you guys?"
Yeah, really, I did. I did, 100%. And it is kind of interesting because, again, you're talking about, this area of a very small, close-knit community where everybody knows everybody. But I think it would be interesting if you told people who it was that helped to construct that media area, because one of those names is very well known in West Virginia.
Are you talking about Tall Paul?
Tall Paul, yeah.
I called Paul Hardesty, who of course is with the West Virginia Board of Education,
state school board president.
And he was an aide to Governor Manchin, and where Paul grew up in Logan and Mingo counties, governor said, you got to get down here with us. And so Paul was one of the guys who helped set up that media center.
Yeah, and he and a few others. All right, so and then it was a waiting game, right? I mean, you were just waiting, hoping for the best. And again, everybody was very sensitive at that time because, again, as you said, we're just a couple of weeks removed from Sago, when, sadly enough, that the word had leaked out that the miners had been saved in that particular instance, and it turned out not to be true. And so people, were very, very guarded about the information that came in or out of there.
Jeff Jenkins can affirm this. It was very difficult to get any kind of information because shortly after Mike Browning and I left that church where the families were, the state police cordoned off that area and would not let anyone with the media near the church. So I relied a lot on Congressman Nick Rahal because he was there. Rockefeller came in a little bit later, but Rahal would rotate between the media center and the church. And we had a long relationship with Rahal, a very good relationship because his family also owned a radio station. And he's the one that gave us a lot of information. I would say, how are the families holding up? And he would tell me how he had talked to them. And so that was some of the information that I was able to relay while we waited. And there was so much smoke in that area. And it took so long to put the fire out, clear the area of smoke. The fire happened at 5:30 on a Thursday afternoon, and the rescue workers could not get into the mine where the Beltline fire had broken out until early Saturday afternoon.
And it's also worth noting, if I remember correctly, and you have a mind like a steel trap, sir, so if I've gotten this wrong, you can tell me. It was very warm then, because I remember that Thursday night I was representing the station at an event in Charleston when this actually happened, when they used to do the Automobile and Truck Dealers Association car show at the Coliseum, then known as the Civic Center, and I was there at that, and I remember walking out and starting to get news of this, and it happened a few hours earlier, and I just remember how warm it was in Charleston that night. It was extremely warm the couple days while this was going on.
It was. It was 55, 65-degree weather, which I think helped build the crowd that was there, and the crowd just kept coming. Jeff and I had been at the Badger Lumber all Thursday night, and we walked outside Friday morning, and I could not believe it. There were all these satellite trucks there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And CNN was there. The Today Show was doing a live segment there. It had just transformed into the focus of news in America at that point.
Yeah, and I can imagine what those folks must have thought when they came into Logan, West Virginia, because, again, you're dealing with an area where everybody knows everybody, and not unlike a lot of small towns in the state or across America. And when you say the media center, it's set up in the back of a hardware store. The gathering place is a local church that may hold, 100, 150 people, something like that.
Not even that many.
It was just something like a foreign world to them, I'm sure.
Everybody was very cooperative, except, I'll call him out, the New York Times. The New York Times was there looking for an anti-George Bush story. It was Friday evening, and word had kind of gotten around that, hey, go talk to this guy if you need anything because he knows everybody. And everyone that I talked to was very cordial and sympathetic to what was going on. And so the reporter for the New York Times came over and he said, I understand everybody knows you and you know everybody. And I went, well, I don't know. What's up? And he said, do you think what has happened is a failure of the Bush administration's lax policy on mine safety? That's what he said to me.
Which is just what you want to say to somebody in Logan County.
And, yeah, well, we're looking for 2 men who are missing in an underground mine fire. And I just looked at him, and he kind of realized, oops, probably overstepped something.
Well, it's probably a good idea that he said, it's probably a good idea he said that to you and not Paul Hardesty. I'll just go ahead and say that.
Yeah, and he knew he overstepped it, and he went, timing to that question is off. I said, yeah, it's very
a little bit,
so
just a little bit.
My apologies, and I said that's fine.
All right, so take us from there. We're up to Friday, and then the news eventually comes out. What, Saturday?
Saturday afternoon, and it was around 4:00. And I was getting ready to call ABC Radio and do another story, and someone came running in to Badger Lumber, and I think it must have been someone who worked there. And he yells at me, and he goes, Speedy, people are coming out of the church crying, and ambulances are backing up to the church. So we all just run out of there and start going up toward the church. And again, the state police had the area cordoned off. So we were probably a couple of 100 yards away from the church, but we could see that was indeed going on. And I was standing with a reporter from the Williamson Daily News at that point. And we were watching the family members leave. And there, across from Badger Lumber, there was an open field where a lot of them had parked. And we saw a woman just sobbing, and her husband had his arm around her as they were walking toward their car. And Josh with the Williamson Daily News says, I know her. She lives next door to my sister. So he runs over there and starts talking to them. And then I see them hug, and he comes back. And he said they found the bodies right where the fire broke out. Mm. So at that point, here came the parade of state vehicles from the church. Car with Magin, car with Ross.
We got about a minute, Speedy. Got about a minute.
Okay. And so the press conference was held there. Magin had a lot of anger in his presentation. Rockefeller broke down and cried in making his comments as well. It was a time when Logan County was at their best because the support that Logan County shows for the coal miner and their family was never more on display.
Indeed. What's your takeaway other than that? Any takeaways from you on the whole thing? We got about 30 seconds.
Well, I think it showed people that in Logan County, you may or may not agree with what coal companies do, but your support of the coal miner and their family is unwavering, and it was never more on display than that weekend.
Speedy Bevins, at that time, WVW Radio. Appreciate you being here to give us your reflections. Appreciate it, and we'll talk soon. Thanks a lot.
All right.
2:24. We'll take a break. Come back after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Coming to the Beckley Convention Center, Saturday 23rd and 24th. Who are the toughest men and women in the state of West Virginia? Watch Tough Man live on Metro News Television to find out. Featured fights, top 5 finishes, and event archives. Download Metro News Television on iPhone, iPad, Android, Roku, LG TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Find out more at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Stike Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement, and we craft detailed financial plans for people like you because you're building your retirement your way. You deserve advice that's built to handle what your life brings. To meet with your Stike team advisor, call us at 304-443-4240 or email stike-info@wealthenhancement.com.
On the next State of Minds.
People appreciate cool tattoos and they appreciate good tattoos. It's a way to make yourself different.
What do you think would fit me?
I think a ninja. A ninja with 2 swords.
Welcome back to the show, 228. My thanks to my former boss, Speedy Bevins, there for joining us with the recollections of the mine disaster in Logan County 20 years ago. And as I said, I remember it. I remember it well myself. I wasn't on the scene. I was on the scene some, but not as much as Speedy was. He and Jeff Jenkins and others basically lived there for about 48 hours while that entire ordeal was going on. Late Thursday evening through that Saturday. I guess it was through that Saturday afternoon when the bodies were indeed found. And it was just always interesting to me, and I'm not trying to make light, please don't think I'm making light of the situation, but sometimes you find odd things. And I just remember that when all of these reporters and media came in from ABC and CNN and the satellite trucks and everything, it kind of reminded me of the episode of an episode of Andy Griffith when all of the out-of-town police came in and tried to tell Andy and Barney how to do their jobs, and it didn't work out too well. Not that I'm saying that my hometown is like Andy Griffith. I'm just saying it does have Mayberry qualities at times. We are coming up on 2:30. Stick around after the break. It's Open Line West Virginia. And now we'll go to the Metro News anchor desk for a check of local news. You're listening to Midday on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Aaron Parker. It looks like state senators will be taking their time with a bill that allocates emergency funds to county school systems in financial trouble. The bill would give $8 million to right now a distressed Hancock County who may not make February payroll. The bill will have to get through the Senate Education Committee and the Senate Finance Committee before getting to the floor. Senator Mike Oliverio says there are other school districts that are financially limited but can manage.
You know, we have to be careful. We have 55 counties. We have some very poor counties, places like Clay County, that seem to be managing the resources that they have. And so to just immediately jump may not be the right thing to do.
The State Board of Education took over Hancock County Schools last week. The two Democratic state senators holding a press conference earlier in the afternoon, and Minority Leader Mike Wolfel says more action needs to be taken in Hancock County.
I'd like to know how those folks are still on the school board that allowed that to happen. So I would want to build a safeguard into that to make sure that if board members allow outrageous conditions to occur that they know will fail, they don't need to be on the school board anymore.
And a pair of bills passing through House committees today as well. The House Judiciary Committee approved a bill dealing with human smuggling and trafficking, and the House Finance Committee approved a bill that frees up more money to build access roads to industrial sites. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
The Mountain State's premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show returns to Milan Park in Morgantown March 7th and 8th. Over 100,000 square feet of campers and RVs, boats and ATVs, hunting and fishing supplies, guns, knives, and more. Limited vendor space is now available. To put your products and services in front of over 10,000 outdoor enthusiasts, visit WVOutdoorSportsShow.com. The 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. A WVRC media event.
The stock market, economy, tariffs, interest rates. We hear a lot about these topics. But what does it all mean for you as you plan for your future? Join us on Thursday for Money Minutes at 3:45 on Hotline as Huntington Bank's local wealth team cuts through the noise and shares how market conditions are impacting us right here in West Virginia. I'm Matt Harris, a member of the local Huntington Bank wealth team. I invite you to catch Money Minutes Thursday on Hotline for insight that will help you navigate your financial future.
An investigation ongoing today after one person was killed in a crash on I-79 in Monongalia County. The accident was reported in northbound lanes at around 8 o'clock Monday evening near the Goshen Road exit. Investigators say a vehicle entered a construction equipment staging area and struck an excavator. And the Women Call for Free America group holding a rally at the state capitol this hour. A release called for women and their allies to walk out of offices, schools, and homes to declare a desire for a free America. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Aaron Parker.
I was proud to be a soldier.
I told the truth and got kicked out.
And so I thought to myself, I'm taking this rule down.
If you're an LGBTQ plus veteran, your memories are important too. Share your story with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project, where firsthand accounts from U.S. military veterans are preserved and made accessible for researchers and future generations. Visit loc.gov/vets to submit your stories, photographs, and documents today.
This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com.
Welcome back to the show. 26 minutes away from 3 o'clock. It's Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit SalangoLaw.com. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. We'll get to Open Line West Virginia. Coming up in just a couple of moments, we want to remind you tomorrow's Wednesday, and every Wednesday, we like to salute somebody doing great things in his or her community around the great state of West Virginia. But we depend on you to let us know what they're doing, what they're up to. It could be somebody that's doing things with animal issues, the homeless, veterans, addiction services, whatever the case may be. We've kind of gone all across we pretty much run the gambit of just about everything you can imagine since we started doing the show last March. But again, we depend on you to let us know about it. So if you get somebody that's doing great things in your community, all we need is about 10 minutes of their time to put them on the radio. You can drop us an email, midday@wvmetronews.com. It's midday@wvmetronews.com. You can reach out to either Amanda Barron or myself on social media. Dave Allen Radio on Facebook, that's for me, or at DaveA70 on X. Open Line West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. I will say one other thing about the anniversary of the Aracoma mine disaster in Logan County. We just talked last half hour to Speedy Bevins, who was the first person on the scene there, general manager at that time of WVW Radio. And I was working, doing the morning show there at WVW. And I can tell you that it was an anxious couple of days for everybody in the entire area, the coal mining community, of course, especially there in southern West Virginia, because everybody just, special kinship. Even those of us that have never spent a day in the coal mines. My father, as I've said before, was a purchasing agent for a coal company. My mother was a secretary for coal companies and later mine manufacturing companies. So it's a tight-knit family, whether you're underground, surface, or whether you're just somehow involved in the community. And it was coming together at that time, and unfortunately, two of the miners lost their lives there. And it had just come about 2 weeks after Sago happened when that happened. But one of the thoughts I remember, I mentioned to Speedy about how warm it was. I mean, especially compared to what we're seeing today. I mean, temperatures were like in the 50s, and that doesn't happen very often, in the January 19 to 21st calendar. That doesn't happen a whole lot, but it did happen at that particular time. It was very warm back in 2006. And the Mountaineers were playing a basketball game against UCLA. That Saturday afternoon, and we were breaking into the game, of course, giving people updates from the mine, and we had a part-time worker that was working, running, as we would call it, running the board, playing the local commercial breaks and whatever. So Speedy thought it might be better to have me do that because, I had been doing it a lot longer in case I had to break in with something, and I was listening to the feed from the hardware store there in what we call in Q, where you have a button push and I could hear everything was going on, and then suddenly it just went dark, it went blank, and I thought, okay, what's going on? And so I call up to the store, and again, there were cell phones, but service was very limited. I called to the store and I said, hey, what's going on? The line went dead, and that's when, about the time they started getting the word about the miners, and because of what had happened at Sago, they didn't want another false report to go out. And so they immediately came in and said, cut the line. And so then I had the dubious task unenviable task, I guess, of not telling the world, but sending it live up there to Speedy to tell people what happened. Yeah, indeed. 22 minutes away from 3 o'clock. It's Open Line West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Text says, what's with the record cold? The weather people are talking about. What happened to global warming? Just about any time that we get cold weather, somebody will chime in with, what about global warming? Extreme weather conditions are a part of climate change. Now, again, you can believe what you choose to believe about climate change. Much like most of my beliefs, they're somewhere in the middle. I do personally believe 100% in climate change. Do I think that man had as much to do with it as what we think that they did? I'm jury's still out on that. But there are things, in the words of the great Leonard Skinner band, the greatest rock and roll band of all time, things going on that you don't know. And there are a lot of changes going on. But extreme weather conditions, be it very hot, very cold, very snowy, places getting snow that never got snow, places getting hurricanes that never got hurricanes, it's all part of climate change. Now, where do we go from here? I don't know. Text says, winter 1978, by the way, programming note, this was the subject of Dave Weekly's commentary. We talked about it during the 12 o'clock hour. Winter of 78, says the texter, I lived in South Hills, fresh from college, tucked my new kitten into my coat, and walked across the interstate bridge to the west side so my mother could cook for me, says a texter. Well, I hope you eventually remember that the kitten was in your coat. Text says, the school systems statewide are full of corruption. They all need to be investigated. We get texts like that from time to time. And, are there corruption things going on within school systems? Of course there are, just like there are in every part of life. But to say that they're all corrupt, I cannot, I can't go there. Text says, people make me laugh getting all worked up over a snowstorm that hasn't even formed yet. Get a grip, people. Well, we live in this 24-hour news cycle, and we live in a world of social media where if some off-the-wall weather person somewhere wants to put something up about there being 35 inches of snow, it gets shared and shared and shared, or we get things that are shared that are from 4 or 5 years ago. But the snowstorm that everybody's getting all up in arms about, that's going to affect a great part of the United States, is going to hit probably Saturday into Sunday here. We talked to meteorologist Joe Fitzwater about that. It's still way too early. They probably won't have any definitive on it till Wednesday or Thursday at the very earliest, more likely Thursday. And the storm that we're talking about is not even, it ain't even a thing yet. It's not even been formed. So to say that it's moving from here, moving there, nothing to report at this particular time. I do know it does look like a good bet that that we are going to have a significant snow event. It depends on where you are as to how much. Probably Joe Fitzwater tells us the northern part of West Virginia will get a lot less. Huntington-Charleston corridor, a lot. Southern West Virginia, a lot. Big deal. South of here, if you got friends in the Carolinas or in Virginia, they're probably going to get hammered, and it's going to be more ice than snow. And snow is a lot easier to deal with than ice, but that does not seem to be an issue for our area. But again, it's just Tuesday. The event we're talking about is Saturday. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. What is involuntary manslaughter? She mentioned that, talking about Putnam prosecutor Chris Raines, but they didn't talk about it. Why are they increasing the penalty for involuntary manslaughter? What is the reasoning? Well, I think you can go back later and listen to the interview with Putnam County prosecutor Chris Raines. I think there are a lot of victims' families that simply don't feel like the law is being the law as written is strong enough. I'll put it that way. Text says, the problem with schools in West Virginia is the funding formula is incredibly out of date and needs to be addressed as soon as possible. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. There would be a lot of people that would possibly agree with that. Text says, seems to me we have learned nothing after the mining accidents over the years in West Virginia, and the administration in D.C. now wants to cut regulations even further, says a texter. Text says, Dave, I was told my entire life that the Constitution is solid and the envy of the democratic world. It took a TV show con man and his media apparatus less than a decade to prove that earlier belief is completely false. Where's the checks and balances? Why is Congress allowing the president to tank the economy and the U.S. reputation? 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK 304. It is Open Line West Virginia. We'll take a break and come back after this.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
In classrooms across the country, chronic absenteeism is on the rise.
Sophia A., grade 4, absent. Julio.
It's Toyotathon, and we're determined to make this the best one yet. Starting now, when you purchase any brand new Tundra or Tacoma, you'll drive away with a personalized Dan Cava Yeti cooler. This December, unwrap incredible deals like 2.99% for 72 months on 2026 Tundras. Snow, sleet, or holiday travel, your perfect winter ride is waiting for you. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Come to Dan Cava GMC this holiday season and find a truck built for every winter moment. From the GMC Canyons that are now up to $2,500 off to the 2,500 GMC Sierras that are now up to $5,000 off, and the Sierra 1500s that are now up to $10,000 off. We've got the winter-ready trucks that your family can count on. Come see us today at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
It's high school basketball season, and Metro News Television has you covered. Rivalries, buzzer beaters, classic hardwood competition. Watch live and on demand from gyms across the Mountain State. Stream Metro News Television on your iPhone, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select smart TVs. Or visit MetroNewsTV.com for more information. High school basketball lives here on Metro News Television.
Welcome back to the show. 13 minutes away from 3 o'clock. It's Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. Open line, West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Text says, I don't care what the weather people say. I'm snow dancing for over 12 inches of snow. Well, it's Tuesday, and the event is not till Saturday. Now some weather models and saying it may be more of a late Saturday into Sunday type thing. I know this. There are a heck of a lot of events going on in the Charleston area this weekend. I'm sure your area's got a lot of things going on as well. I know here in Charleston, of course, we have the Hunting and Fishing Show at the Coliseum and Convention Center Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got a big concert, contemporary Christian show, I think Friday night, I think it is, at the Coliseum and Convention Center. We got Jason Aldean in concert on Saturday night. So there's probably a lot of other folks that are hoping that we don't get it. But it's looking like we're going to get something. Is it going to be 12-plus inches? It's Tuesday. Let's tackle that maybe when we get close to 48 hours out. Hunting and Fishing Show. That's what I said. Okay. West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show. You see, we have these different. We have another big one that's coming up in Morgantown, and that's going to be in March. We'll talk about that as we get a little closer to that one as well. So, 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Folks in the booth always looking out for me, and I appreciate that very much because sometimes I forget things. Text says, just a reminder. The Trump administration is now 32 days past complying with the deadline set forth in the Epstein Transparency Act that the protector-in-chief himself signed into law. 1-800-765-TALK. Text 304-TALK-304. Praying for you, Dave, says a texter. Appreciate that. Text says, I hope there's a criminal investigation coming out of the mess in Hancock County. Well, I mean, I think it's maybe a little bit early for that. There's certainly a lot of splaining to do. But I mean, if that comes to pass, then I would be all for that. But let's let the investigation play out before we go that route. But I do appreciate the text. Tope's text says, hope everyone gets all their milk and bread today or tomorrow. Won't be any left by Friday. Oh, yeah, those, as Rob Reel would call them, those French toast kits. You know, people rush out and they buy the milk, they buy the bread, and they buy the eggs because they think they're never going to get out of the house ever again. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Text says, I'm convinced State School Board President Paul Hardesty is the only honest politician we have in the state. Well, I don't know whether we call him Big Paul. I don't know whether Big Paul is a politician at this point. He is the State School Board President. He is a former state senator and was a member of the Board of Education in Logan County for a number of times, been around the political community. I don't know whether Paul would call him. Look, when you're Paul Hardesty and you're that big, you can call yourself whatever the heck you want. It's 2:50, 10 minutes away from 3, and I'll say this about Paul Hardesty. I've never seen anybody in person in my life that could hit a golf ball as far as Paul Hardesty. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Hashtag Logan County Strong. Appreciate that. Text says, great point that someone made on the radio earlier. Well, obviously it wasn't me. If Clay County, one of the state's poorest counties, can get their financials in line, any county should be able to do so as well. Text says, I think the prosecutor lady must have misspoke because she said they were trying to increase the laws on involuntary manslaughter, but then only talked about voluntary manslaughter, which makes absolutely no sense to me why you would increase the law on involuntary manslaughter and then not describe what it is and then only talk about voluntary manslaughter. We'll follow up. How's that? Text says, what a joke of a college football season this was. Indiana bought and paid for that championship, says a texter. Text says, mark it down, John Williams wins his election. Well, could be, but that's why they have elections. Text says, I love watching Morrissey try to take credit for the Mason County project when it was actually Jim Justice who did it. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of clarity that's come out of this story yesterday. You'll recall Governor Morrissey yesterday morning released a video filmed on the banks of the Ohio River in Point Pleasant talking about this major economic policy, economic project, 250 or some odd full-time jobs when they're at capacity, 2,000 or some construction jobs to get this thing built. And then Governor, now Senator Justice, issued a statement saying, well, you know, and paraphrasing here, we announced this a couple of years ago, and then what's gotten lost in it, I think, was the work that was done by people like Senator Glenn Jeffries, Senator Eric Tarr. I mean, as best I understand it, what the governor was doing yesterday was talking about they had acquired the land. And if you'll go back to the original story that Chris Lawrence wrote back in 2022, I think it was, and it's linked in the story at WVMetroNews.com that we posted yesterday. The original story said they hope to have it up and running by 2023. Well, obviously that didn't happen. Apparently issues with the land. Either way, it's looking like it's going to happen. Kudos and hats off and all that to the folks in Mason County. We had County Commissioner Rick Handley on the show yesterday talking about it, and a lot of great stuff going on in that part of the world on the Route 2 corridor. There in places like Apple Grove and those communities along Route 2 between Huntington and Point Pleasant. Big things going on as well in Jackson County and some other areas. I like the fact that we're talking about well over 200 very, very, very good-paying jobs. It's one of the things I like about it. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK, 304. Text says, why is no one talking about the porn bill in the legislature, which would take away a teen's right to porn? Well, there is a bill being floated around that would require age verification if you're going to access adult sites. You would have to upload your ID in order to do that. And while it may be very well intended to keep teenagers off of things they should not look at on the internet, if anybody will find a way around it, it'll be teenagers. And then a bunch of adults are going to be coming to teenagers and go, hey, can you help me with this? 2:54, we'll take a break and come back after this.
The Mountain State Assessment of Trends in Community Health, or MATCH, is a survey sent to 88,000 West Virginian home addresses where the information you provide can support policymakers to direct resources to help your community. If selected, you will receive the survey information and invitation in the mail. You can complete the survey online, by mail, or by phone, and you will be compensated for your time. Visit wvmatchsurvey.org for more information. Helping your community is a touchdown for West Virginia.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email steig-info@wealthenhancement.com.
It's Toyotathon, and we're determined to make this the best one yet. Starting now, when you purchase any brand new Tundra or Tacoma, you'll drive away with a personalized Dan Cava Yeti cooler. This December, unwrap incredible deals like 2.99% for 72 months on 2026 Tundras. Snow, sleet, or holiday travel, your perfect winter ride is waiting for you. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
This holiday season, I need someone to help me bring in the holiday cheer.
Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
Dan Cava, GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world!
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Welcome back to the show. A couple of minutes away from the top of the hour. Metro News Midday. Look who's here. It's Dave Weekly. How you doing?
I am doing fine.
We were telling old radio stories here because we're old radio guys.
That's right.
So National DJ Day. All right. I don't know. I'd have a hard time wrapping myself around Dave Weekly, like spinning the tunes, man.
Oh, man, I've worked all kinds of formats.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's some of the
Classic
formats?
rock, country, top 40. Yeah, back in the day before I went legit into local television
See,
news.
I haven't done that yet because while I do this, and I don't know how legit this is, 4 hours a day, 1 hour local, 3 hours network. I also spend a little time on our country station here in Charleston, KWS, and also 98.7 A Mountain, where I'm heard every Sunday between noon and 7.
I like how, now see, that was professionally done.
Uh-huh.
That was very well
You
done.
like that? Well, if you want, I can do a top 40 voice if you want. I can do that if you want. Because I have done top 40, but we don't do that now. But I could if you want. I could absolutely do I can't now because I have
I assume people who
it
are
up.
listening to the show like radio and like to hear us talk about radio.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves radio. As much as they used to. You've got a question of the day, I guess,
Yeah.
about National DJ Day?
Yeah, it's National DJ Day. Who are some of the radio DJs you listened to growing up? Include the station
Okay.
in your
You
responses.
know who my idol was when I was a kid? Seriously?
Who?
Dave Weekly. I used to watch on TV when I was a little kid. I remember that.
And our other thing is, if you were starting a DJ career, what would your on-air name be?
All right. Got to go. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.